What is something that everyone should experience at least once in their lifetime?
A meteor shower, away from the lights of the city.
Seeing the ocean.
Laughing to the point you can't stand breath or even make any sign of communication but laughter.
Being taught by a good teacher who is passionate about the subject and the students.
Staying up all night chatting with a friend about anything and everything. Nothing quite like it. Also taking a really satisfying crap that's been bothering you all day.
8 hours of sleep.
Feeling loved.
Doctors of Reddit, what is the weirdest thing a patient wouldn't admit?
They were almost 60 years old and taking a drug to make them lactate so their husband could pump them as it would help their fibromyalgia. Took a while for them to admit why they were taking it. Nurse here, had a patient accuse me of shitting in her bed, and threatened to sue me for malpractice. Keynote, she never got out of her bed.
Not a doctor but a nurse. Had a patient come in with a toothpick in his penis. Refused to tell me how it got in there, insisting he was picking his teeth and it fell in.
Which branches of science are severely underappreciated? Which ones are overhyped?
Quantum physics is simultaneously overhyped and underappreciated.
Underrated, molecular biology. The lab rats are working on our future health and that of all living things. Overrated, economics. They are excellent at predicting the past. Underappreciated, material science. Overhyped, I hate to say it, but medicine. News media bombarding people with cure to cancer found. For the th time is to blame, not the science itself.
Sciences related to agriculture are definitely underrated. Hey.
AI is by far the most overhyped field. It is used for clickbaits. People share hoax and fake shit all over the internet.
What movie did you walk out of?
Technically, all of them.
I walked out of Napoleon Dynamite to go to the bathroom and an over-officious employee wouldn't let me back in. Also I missed the final 20 minutes of Casino Royale when the fire alarm in the cinema went off and we all got evacuated.
There's a story that my brother tells me that my mom almost got up with my sister, brother and I from the Shrek movie because he farted in the hot tub.
Being John Malkovich but only because I got food poisoning from a mussel pasta that I ate earlier in the day. I recommend the film. I do not recommend the restaurant.
None. I paid for that movie so I will endure and then shred it to anyone who will listen until I get the perceived entertainment value I paid for.
The internship. Cringy Google advert that we actually had to pay to see.
I really needed to pee before the final act of Avengers Endgame. So I ran out and tripped on the stairs on my way out.
What is the creepiest thing you've seen in the woods, or in the mountains, or in deserts, or caves, or in small towns, or in remote or rural areas, or while on large bodies of water, or while on an aircraft or a nautical vessel?
I was mountain biking in the woods and I came across an East Asian looking man in a perfectly fitted suit and a briefcase. Just casually walking through the woods.
I was on a camping trip with some friends of mine and we found like 7 or 8 chipmunks and squirrels all in a pile, but they were all dead without arms or legs.
Which two occupations when swapped, would cause the most chaos?
Air traffic controller and auction announcer.
A vet and a butcher.
Surgeons and the people who work at Build-A-Bear. Insult comics and child psychologists.
Preschool teachers and army drill sergeants. Walmart greeters and firefighters. Starbucks cashiers and court transcribers.
Astronomer and astrologist. Stunt pilots and commercial pilots.
Truckers of Reddit, what's the most unsettling stretch of road in the US? Where do you refuse to pull over?
Gary, Indiana. If it's not burnt down, it's because the meth operation hasn't exploded yet. ITT, Indiana is a flaming piece of shit.
Gary, Indiana, where US 6, 65, 90, and 94 are all tangled.
I don't know where it is, but every time my brother-in-law trucks to this one company outside my town, he finds a deformed chicken and brings it home as a pet. We have 3 chickens from Moana.
All of Wyoming. When you see those billboard-sized signs telling you to gas up, do it.
You are an atheist who just died and witnessed proof of God. What is the first thing you say?
Well, I'll be damned.
My bad.
Hey bud, can I stay up here?
Finally, a father I can believe in.
It would depend on which supreme being ended up actually existing. Be kind of awkward if it was some other species god, though. Hail Gragnax of Canuthlar Flugex 7, Galactic Quadrant 3. I kneel before your tentacled magnificence.
May I see some ID, please?
What the fuck, man?
What is a stupid social thing that we all need to just stop doing?
Making people feel bad because they don't drink.
Sticking with things just because they've always been this way. Being fundamentally opposed to innovation is absurd and really shouldn't be a thing. Also, talking while chewing food.
Judging people in the court of public opinion.
Working ourselves to death.
How often do you look at correctly spelled words and feel absolutely sure that it must be spelled wrong?
Several times a day. To food by correcting something my kids spelled correctly.
Between 28 and 29 days a year. Every February. For example, I just wrote the word survey and even now typing it just feels wrong, like it should be pronounced to rhyme with scurvy.
English is a weird language. A few times I was confused about how to spell of.
Tomorrow. I used to use 2 letter M's and 1 letter R.